And back to the Iran deal, the U.S. rolling back billions of dollars in economic sanctions against Tehran as some of the provisions from the deal snap into effect. You know, both President Obama and his Iranian counterpart, Hassan Rouhani, would have been praising relations between the two countries and this agreement. But others in Washington do not share that same sentiment. There's lots of criticism, especially from Republicans, who say the deal emboldens a terrorist state and can eventually, in about 15 years, pave the way for Iran to build a nuclear bomb. Illinois Congressman, Republican Peter Roskam joins us on the telephone now. Congressman, before we get to that, I want to show you a photograph we just got in here at Fox News. It is Brett McGurk. He is the president's special advisor for ISIS, and there we are told he is greeting Jason Rezaian, the Washington Post reporter, the courageous journalist, Iranian-American who was held prisoner in Iran. Congressman, your reaction to the fact that, yes, thankfully tonight or this afternoon, we do have some of our fellow American citizens back.
Everybody is united with the delight that Americans are back. But let's put this into the right context. There's a pastor, a Washington Post reporter, and other innocents who have been brought back in exchange for 7 Iranian criminals and the commitment not to pursue 14 others that are likely would have been subject to law pursuit or law enforcement pursuit. So this is a matter of scale, and I think what is being made manifest actually is President Obama's absolute desire to do a deal essentially regardless of the cost. And I think the larger problem is the Iranians now get $100 billion+ of infusion in cash with no strings attached whatsoever. They can do anything they want with the money.
Do you think they can spend this? Do you think some of this money will end up in terrorist hands? I mean, the president today in a speech said basically it's a beginning of a new era for Iran and the U.S. But, I mean, at the same time, has the administration, in your view, rewarded a regime of prisoner-taking, anti-American terrorists backing extortionists?
Yeah, put this into a context. So they humiliated sailors this week. They did ballistic missile tests in violation of U.S. protocol or UN protocols. They shot a rocket within 150 yards of a U.S. military vessel. And look, there's also $2 billion in U.S. judgments in U.S. courts for American victims of Iranian terror, and that money should be directed, instead of paying the Iranians, those people who have been victimized by the Iranians should be paid. And yet the Iranians get the money. They get $1.7 billion direct payout. They get $100 billion in cash infusion from other sources. And this is all within this context of the president. And I think it's just embarrassing. They're bending over backwards and absolutely being enablers as it relates to the Iranians.
Well, what would you have liked to have seen in this deal?
Look, I would have liked to have seen the president walk away from the Iranian deal. Remember when John Kerry came and he made the pitch to Congress and he said that no deal is better than a bad deal? That was true. And it was the sanctions regime that was in place that drew the Iranians to the table. So we knew that out of the French Foreign Ministry. They said if you stuck to your guns, we would have been able to drive and get a better deal. But I think the Iranians now have the upper hand on the Obama administration, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And they're going to continue, the Iranians, are going to continue to push the Obama administration. Look, if you're able to humiliate 10 soldiers and fire off rockets and, come within a hair of a U.S. military vessel, and you get $1.7 billion, and you get 17 of your citizens cut loose in some fashion, why would you ever stop doing it?
If finally, Congressman, you say you think that they'll start pushing the administration, what do you think they're going to do? Take other Americans, basically hostage or prisoner? Do you think that they'll launch some more missiles? Do you think that they'll cheat on the nuclear program? They're borrowing inspectors from military sites.
I think all of those things are on the table, and it's just human nature. If you get rewarded for that kind of behavior, which they have by definition, and we see it on full bloom today, then what is the restraining influence if you've got a president that has already made up his mind that part of the legacy is the Iranian deal, and he will defend it no matter how much impunity the Iranians have?
Congressman Roskam from Illinois, we thank you for joining us and with your insight today on this controversial agreement. Take care.
Thanks.
Arthel?
And Eric, in addition to Congressman Roskam, reaction pouring in from around the world to the end of the nuclear sanctions on Iran. So what is Israel, our most important ally in the Middle East, saying about the development?